My name's Guy Kesteven. I've been a professional bike and kit reviewer for over 25 years, and this is my long-term live ride review of the devilishly different Evil Offering mid-travel trail ripper. Well, I guess if you're going to test an Evil, these are the right light conditions, really. A bit sepulchral for this Offering at Steinburn today, and straight away, I've actually been off the bike for a bit. I'm noticing how kind of tight and relatively, for a long mid-travel bike, how steep that head angle is. So it's either 65.8 or 66.4 head angle, which is a lot slacker than other bikes in this category. You know, like your Hightower or your Yetis, Specialized Evo, Trek Fuel EX, and all around that 150 fork, 140 rear end setup. This is actually 141, but you know, let's not pick fights. But that's always been the case with Evils. Always run slightly steeper head angles than other bikes, and that gives them a real kind of trademark responsiveness and aggressive front end feel, which this bike really backs up. The older bikes used to be a bit loose sometimes in feel, but it's got a massive head tube on it now. Really pronounced chin on the front end of the bike. The mainframe's more braced, very low slung as well, so 425 seat tube on this large, so you've got no problem getting a big reach seat post in there. Comes standard with a 1851 up. But what's really different on these latest generation Offerings is they're actually long now. Previous Evils are pretty short, but the latest gen have gone fashionably long, so 485 or 491 on this large now. But that's not where the unusual geometry stops, because they combine that steep front end and long centre with a really short back end. Because they got Super Boost on there, 157mm wide back end, it means they can keep the chainstay down to 432, 430, depending on where you have that linkage. And then of course you've got the ability to drop the BB slightly, although to be honest, when they label it low and extra low, it's more like kind of relatively high and medium, really, at 347 and then 334. So I don't quite, it's not as radical in some ways as it sounds, and then in others the complete package makes for a really different handling bike on the trail, but different in a really good way. But straight away you can feel how much keener and more agile this is to change direction and hop and move about, and a steadier, slacker bike. This is proper mischievous still, despite that long reach, because both ends are so agile. Lovely little foot up back wheel slide there, but then you have got this big stability in the centre section that you can lean on when the tyres do go sideways, or it does start to drift otherwise. What's weird is you can see when you look down, it looks pretty active when you're pedalling, but it feels super positive. Certainly doesn't feel like there's any need to flick that pedal lever across. So there's quite a properly compelling geometry story
up a steep one
on this offering already. But the reason
for a single privet,
people
this is remarkable.
really buy Evils is just that unique Dave Weagle Delta Link suspension. So effectively it's a single pivot bike with a really smart pull linkage arrangement, and it feels absolutely phenomenal in terms of fluidity, grip, and just amazingly consistent control. And what's interesting is, even though it actually looks pretty active visually when you're pedaling, it actually feels remarkably planted when you're putting the power down. Sorry, I had to stop and get a shot of that inversion. That's amazing. And to be fair, a lot of suspension systems have kind of caught up since, but this was one of the first proper superbike setups in terms of it's just incredible speed generation, and it still does an amazing job of just flowing and floating through sections where your bike could normally be hanging up. This Delta Link is something like, whoa, like some kind of speed engine that just feeds off the impacts, even when you can't see where they're coming from or what they're going to be in conditions like this. And the fact that I'm pushing a pair of Vittoria tyres this hard in conditions like this, it's pretty much all you need to know about how confident this bike makes you feel. And even though this isn't the latest version of the offering, what they call the lightly salted, so it hasn't got the SRAM universal derailleur hanger, comes as standard now. Has a load of really neat housekeeping work being done on it. So you've got fully guided internal cable routing, you've got moulded chainstay rubber quietners called the Sound Mound, and you've got, I can't remember what they call it on the down tube. Yeah, it's basically a foam backed rubber protection layer to protect against flying rocks. And even though you've got a ton of pivots on here, and that's always kind of been a Achilles heel on Evils in the past, the reason we've ridden this so long before I've committed to a video on it is just to see how they've lasted. And they've been absolutely spot on. No issues whatsoever. I think the key thing from talking to Evil owners is not to jet wash them all the time, and then you'll be golden. And yeah, this certainly feels super taut still after months and months proper hardcore riding. And for full rowdiness security, you get a rubber damped chain guide as standard, and that'll take up to 36 chainring. Then you get a 2.6 inch tyre in this Super Boost back end. I mean, Super Boost is a pain. I mean, that's the reason why Ryan's been mostly riding it long term, not me, simply because I get very few Super Boost wheels through to test, and this bike comes with Evil Zone, very expensive but incredibly well damped, advanced composite loophole rims on the always awesome instant pickup i9 Hydra hubs, and that just all helps with the composure through here, even though, like I said earlier, we've been running Vittoria tyres on it, which isn't normally a word you associate with composure, and it should come with a set of Maxxis, but just changed it up for a bit of rolling speed, to be honest. But its ability to pump and pop but still feel super connected through that Lyric up front, that super deluxe at the reel, is a real tribute to how sorted this chassis is now. Massive single piece rear end, extra brace kind of skewering right through the heart of the mainframe, means you can really push it on hard. So much feedback coming from those wheels and tyres, and each pedal stroke gets proper pinners like this. Just the way that front end just feels more alive than normal for this gear category, with the precision and sharpness of it. Certainly not the most relaxing ride, but possibly one of the most rewarding when you key into it and really start turning it in as hard as it wants to be driven. Ah, yes!
Enjoy that?
I did.
Yeah. Active.
Really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Actually, I should let you have a quick chat. Ryan's the kind of my perennial wingman. He's been living on this for the past few months, really. Just to try and wear out the bearings, really.
Giving it a good go.
Yeah, and for a start, have you?
No. No. I've literally just had to oil it and clean it and pump it up, and it's ready to go every time. It's been very good. I've loved it. I've absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
I love how active it makes you feel on a bike.
Yeah.
I'm involved. I like the fact that it's not too slack. And
yeah, it's quite interesting because you've just jumped on a high tower now.
Yeah.
And you're struggling a bit with that.
Yeah,
adjusting. I mean, you're adjusting now,
I'm
but
adjusting, yeah. But I can really, I can feel the difference in how much more you have to work to get the front end moving and turning in.
Yeah.
Whereas that one.
Yeah, this is proper alive. Even, I mean, this is an 810 mil bar.
Yeah.
This broomstick is 810 mil. You've got a short 12 gauge on it, but it just feels so alive. I mean, I'm going to do a Trek talk around and everything on it, but you've got that massive head tube on there. Even though the frame tubes themselves look pretty slim, that front end it's proper ripper, eh?
It is. Yeah, it really is. It's such a lot of fun to ride that bike. And it pedals so well. I think you've already mentioned that, but I love the way it pedals.
Yeah.
I've never, ever, in all the months I've ridden it, felt the need to flick the rear shock into pedal mode.
Because previously, I've always felt like they've been a bit, under power, which is all I've kind of pulled away from having an Evil as a long-termer, but you've been kicking everyone's ass since you had it.
Don't tell anyone.
Okay.
It's the bike.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. Oh, cheers for the feedback anyway, mate.
Yeah, fantastic. It's been good.
Oh, and Ryan's a Patreon as well, so...
I am, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and yeah, why wouldn't I be? Yeah, it's fantastic, and it supports you being able to be out here and, produce the content.
Yeah, so if you like what I'm doing, be a pal and join up with Ryan. You might even get to come out and play. If you want to, I don't know. Well, if you ought to do more stuff like that on Patreon.
Yeah, get some people on board, yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, thanks to all the people who are signed up, and if you like what I'm doing, please consider doing it yourself. Normally do that back to the end. Right, more riding. And not only is that Delta Link super grippy and loaded with feedback when it comes to working out what the back wheel's doing, you've also got a reasonably steep 76 or 77 degree seat angle depending on where you set that link. So although it is long, you've not only got that front end that comes around keenly, but also the back end's very tight as well. And while I'm no wheelie or manual expert, definitely makes popping the front end up easier than it would be on most bikes this long. And at 14.3 kilos, I mean, it's not super light, but it's kind of a reasonable weight for this category. And because, I mean, there is a little bit of, you kind of lose the sharpness off the nose on the pedal stroke compared to something like VPP or Switch Infinity. But if you just sit and spin, the drive is so consistent and trustworthy. It'll winch up almost anything, as Ryan has showed far too often over the past few months. And those loophole rims, while they are very expensive, have a lifetime warranty, and they've got an amazing quiet, damped feel on this bike. I mean, obviously it's kind of hard to completely isolate rim feel because I haven't actually had another Super Boost bike through to try them on. It's only really Pivot who run that size. But when I popped the front wheel onto other bikes, it does feel super quiet and calm. And it certainly makes for a very impressive overall package on this offering. And then you got SRAM X01, Code RSC, all the good quality analog gear from the SRAM Corporation, doing your stopping and going. Oh yes, even that Italian rubber spun on that route, still just composed enough to roll up over, grab the next bite of rock, keep on moving. Feels great up here. Oh no!
Double down.
Mine was just a bad line choice. Whoop. Yeah. Borderline frost point, wet roots, and not Victoria. Happy hunting ground. Can't believe how well it's just carrying on. It's like regular, I mean, full on wheel spins. It's a marker just how connected this bike is. And while there is a little bit of bob in terms of taking the top, it's the very first part of the stroke. It feels really taut and supported in the midsection, whether you're cornering or cranking up a technical climb, whether you're getting the short travel following. It's kind of started the whole short travel aggro 29er genre, or the Red Bull Rampage Ready, a Reckoning or Insurgent, or this mid-ground but anything but ordinary offering. Such a distinctive bike with a deserved cult following, and it seems like there are more and more awesome bikes in this mid-travel category every month, not every week. And this has got an awkward Super Boost wheel size back end, and it doesn't have internal storage if you're into taking your picnic in your frame with you. But dynamically. This is just such a sort. Oh, hello. Crikey. Hit that one hard. This is just such a sorted ride. Dynamically. Just encourages you to throw shapes and make proper play feature out of every part of the trail. So you've got that steeper front end and shorter back with that long centre, and then the amazing performance of that Delta Link suspension just ties it all together, lets you take liberties even with Italian tyres, and finishing touches like bar, those loophole extra compliance super quiet wheels, and then all the frame features to keep it quiet and shred ready. This is such a great bike if you're a rider who likes to feel they're really doing something with the trail. So that's the live ride done. I hope it wasn't too misty and murky for you, but it's exactly these kind of conditions that really suit the Evil. Properly brings out the devil in you when you're riding terrain like this. But probably made enough sort of satanic offering puns for this bike. Make sure you watch the Tech Talk Around so you can see the up close details and anything I've missed out while I've been getting too excited about the dynamics of the bike. And if you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe and give this a thumbs up so YouTube know you liked it. And if you really like joining these awesome people whose names are scrolling up now on Patreon as a monthly subscriber. And massive thanks to Giro Cycling, to Crud, and to PE's for sponsoring the channel, and Cal and Luis Mia Evil for letting me have the bike long enough to prove that bearings and servicing really aren't the issue some people have made it out to be. But for now, I've been Guy Kestevan on Guy Case TV, hyping up the Evil Offering Mid-Travel Mischief Maker. What a bike.